Dale, how do we stop this? Well, as I've told you guys before, there are some countermeasures, but you got to remember again, your job is not to stop them because you can't do that. You can only slow them down. Well, how do we do that? The first way is by going through and using encryption. This helps you to protect data that is considered sensitive. If I've encrypted data to a particular user, then regardless of what that user's or what my user permissions will be, I won't have access to that information. You also could take a look at least privilege when it comes to your users and applications. And what we mean by this is don't over allocate your privileges. If somebody needs the ability to do something on a machine, yeah, sure, I get it. It may be easy to just make them an admin and call it a day. But instead, take the time to figure out what rights and permissions they need and only give them those rights and permissions. You could also take a look at making sure that your updates are done. It drives me absolutely bonkers because a lot of the privilege escalation issues can be avoided by making sure that you are patching your systems. Another thing you can do is limit the interactive login. Interactive login is the right to actually throw a three-finger salute or the Control-Delete keys on a box and log in. By default, regular users don't have the right to log in interactively on a server. You could also make sure that your service accounts are limited. Using that same concept we just talked about, that least privileges, same concept with service accounts. I see this mistake done all the time where IT guys will go to install an application, a server application like SQL or SharePoint, and they need a service account. This is an account that utilizes the machine. As far as the machine is concerned, it just thinks a user is doing all the work, but it's being done by this account. Well, a lot of guys will just go through and use the administrator account on the local box. Again, you need to evaluate what access these service accounts need because it could create a vulnerability or a hole for you. And another one we can do is limit the extent of the code if you're the developer and you're creating your application that runs at a high privilege level. Again, typically it's when we take shortcuts that we create issues. Some other things we can do: privilege separation. Now, with this type of an approach, we limit the scope of programming errors and possible bugs. You can also test the OS and your apps meticulously. Review code if you're a developer. IT guys, if a developer says, here's a new app we're going to be using, there should be some type of documentation that says what was done where. You should question any type of code that somebody wants you to place in your environment. And you developers, don't go off and download somebody's sample code and just copy and paste it. Make sure you understand what each line does. You can also look at using multi-factor. Multi-factor, good. This way here, we place another layer of a safety net for us. And finally, do some stress tests. The reason behind this is because many times when an application or an OS gets overloaded, it creates vulnerabilities. You may even want to consider performing debugging using bounds checkers. Again, please realize none of these items are going to stop everything from happening, but at least it'll make you feel like you've got a handle on things.